everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be colouring in this book by Tim Jeffs. Now this is Intricate Ink Animals in Detail Volume 2. So this is from one of my abandoned books. I've had this for a long time and I've just never got around to colouring a page in it. So this is going to go for one of the checklist challenge prompts, which is colour a page from an abandoned book. And I'm also doing this page for, if you head over to Instagram and you check out at littlepicklescolourfullife, she's running a hashtag over there. It's hashtag July Elephants Colour Along. So I have wrote it here, but it's really tiny writing. I don't know if you're going to be able to read it. I do write small. My mother used to always complain that my writing was so tiny. But there we go. I will drop the details in the description of this video. So I thought the page I would do today was this lovely elephant. It's a gorgeous one. So this one is the African elephant. I think there's an African and an Asian elephant. Oh, this one's the Asian elephant. Yeah, the Asian elephant. So I'm going to do that one today. So I've printed myself off a little reference picture and I'm going to use the Tombow Irojitens pencils. I really do love using those pencils in these books. They're brilliant for fur, brilliant for any sort of animal details, to be honest. They're absolutely brilliant because they're a really hard pencil. So this is the sort of colour range that I have so far. I've got volumes 1 to 6. So they're the colours, and then I've got room to swatch out 7, 8 and 9 if I decide to purchase them. So I've got the two sets at the minute. They come like this and they're very beautifully packaged, very beautiful. I like little books on a bookshelf, but they are quite tricky if you want to use them and have them all out. They are quite tricky to keep getting each individual box out, so I have been contemplating buying a case for them. I know it's a shame to take them out of here, but it is a pain when you're trying to use them. So I have just got them all here, the colours that I intend on using. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 colours here. So it's not that, well, it might be that bad for a little elephant that's normally just grey, but we'll see. But I thought it'd be nice to bring some of these colours in. One of the colours I've decided to bring into it is this Campanula blue. So it's a really nice sort of blue grey, and I just thought that I'd give it quite a nice, you know, colour than just putting straight grey down on the page, but we'll see. So this is my cute little reference picture. So you can see that, you know, he's got some sort of, I don't know what colour this is, but I think I picked out the cork colour in the Irojitens pencils to do this. And then obviously you've got some light greys, dark greys, and there is quite a bit of pink here on his ear. And then up here you can see a bit of sort of brown colouring. So, you know, we've got a few different colours to mix in there. So I'm going to start off with some of these lighter areas. So all these little bits that are speckled that you can see down the nose and the ear, I'm going to go in with them first. So let me just get my swatch book out and check I'm picking the right colour. So the colour I wanted for these is, I think it was the cork, but I want to double check. Yeah, it was the cork, so it's this sort of colour. And then for the ears I'm going to use the fawn. So let's find the cork colour. So it is that one, and I'll bring you in and I'll start at the top. So here where this dotty area is, and I'm just going to put in a really light layer to start off with, a really light layer, and then we can always build on it. I've got the window open today, it's 28 degrees. Oh, I know some of you in hotter countries laugh at us getting a sweat on over 28 degrees, but it's really, you know, it's not that usual over here. So we can't bear the heat. Well, I can't. Some of us can, but I can't. I'm in the house with the windows open and I'm not going out in that sun, not a chance. So if you can hear busy traffic, I am on a main road, but I cannot shut the window. We don't have air conditioning in our houses over here. Well, unless you're posh. But we don't really need it, to be honest. There's only like probably a couple of weeks out the year, a month at most, where it's really, really unbearably hot in this country. Normally it just rains all the time. The children are playing. They've got the back door open, but even they keep coming in to cool off. We've got a fan on in the living room, so they keep coming in and having a sit down in the living room. I find these pencils so good for Tim Jeff's books. So good. The range of colours, they're just perfect for what you need for the animals. Like every reference picture I've ever printed off, I've been able to find an exact colour that's just been fabulous. Like this cork, it's just brilliant for what this is on the reference. Looks like a good match. So these pencils are definitely more of a builder pencil. So light layers. If you try and go in with a heavy hand straight away, sorry I was out of frame there. If you try and go in with a heavy hand straight away, it's really going to hurt your hand. Really going to hurt your hand. They're quite hard pencils. I'm still in shot. I do apologise for going off. So I've just been to the shop for them some ice creams as well. We're out of isolation now. So if you're one of the lucky people waiting for the giveaway prize, I will be heading to the post office tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be open, because apparently our post office has been, everyone's been complaining about turning up and it's been shut all the time. So fingers crossed I can get into that post office tomorrow. So I apologise for your wait. But it's just, you know, when we've been isolating, there's nothing we can do. We can't break the isolation rules to go to the post office, so it is what it is. Hopefully I'll get there in the morning. So that's all the trunk done. So the ear, I wanted a slightly different colour because it is more pink toned. So the colour that I've picked out for this is a gorgeous colour. It's called Fawn. Hopefully that's in frame. They're beautiful pencils, these, they really are. I don't think they get enough praise. So I'm going to go in all the spotting detail around the ear, so all around here and the bottom bit I'm going to go in with this. I may just leave a tiny strip that I can do black. It almost looks like a really dark grey around the edge, so I'm going to leave a tiny bit out there and a tiny bit out at the top as well. So I'm going to start here, light layers again. I've actually not coloured one of Tim Jeff's pages for a while. I normally pick, you know, one page a month, but I didn't colour one last month, so it's been quite nice to get this page out because I do love his illustrations. He's got a competition running on his Facebook group at the moment. It's I think it's Colour a Shark, and you can either win, I think there's a couple of prizes, first and second prize. There may be a third prize, but I'm not sure. But one of the prizes is one of his books. One of the prizes is a shark plushie. It's so cute. I think it was a hammerhead shark plush. Really sweet. If you're not already on Tim Jeff's Facebook group, head on over if you love it, if you like his work, because it's a belting little page. They're all super friendly, and the lady what helps run his group, well, she mainly, I think she mostly single-handedly runs the Facebook group, and she's just the most, you know, kind lady. Most loveliest kind lady. Right, so I'm gonna go all over this and just leave a tiny bit at the bottom for the grey. So it'll probably come up to about here. I may deepen up some of this pink with a bit of, there's a colour called Shell Pink, which might brighten it up a bit if I feel like it needs brightening up any more than that. But they are quite muted tones on this elephant, quite muted. So that's that. I'm thinking about getting that cork again. And I've just spotted on my reference picture that it does have a little bit around his mouth and a little bit around his eye. Somewhere here. So if I'm still in shot, I'm just gonna lay down a little bit. It's like little patches of this colour throughout the elephant. So we'll put a bit there. And put a bit near his eye at the top. The reference I've got looks like a little baba as well, so it's got all the little fluff on its head. It's so cute. Right, and I'm also going to put a little bit around here in a sort of squiggly line, because that's what it looks like on the reference. I can't see much of the body on the reference, but it does look quite dark, and then we've got some brown, a bit of brown throughout here, possibly. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this cork on the mouth as well. Again, light pressure. There we go. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with a little bits of brown that I can see. So the brown that I've picked out for this is called Autumn Leaf. It's a really lovely brown. You might not be able to see the writing on this very well because it is silver on white, which is a bit hard to see, but hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to go in where you can see this sort of darker grayscale here. All those bits I'm going to go in with this Autumn Leaf, but I am going in with a light pressure because I'm going to mix this in with the greys when I come to the greys. It is only a delicate colour as well on the reference picture. It's not a really deep brown. It is like just almost like a hint of brown, if you will. So also, if you want to join in with this hashtag, I do believe there's a picture of an elephant in the Kirby book, which I've looked at so many times and thought, should I do this page? And then something's always put me off about doing it. I don't know why. But like I said, Tim Jeff's books, you'll find some elephants in his books. Always. There's 2 in this one, and I'm sure I've seen one in one of his other books as well. My children are bossing each other about. They can never play games nicely, can they? They always argue over who's being who in the pretend scenario games. It's cute. Right, I'm just thinking if I want any of this colour around his ear. I'm just looking to see if there's any brown tones that I can see. I can quite see there's almost like a bit of brown around here. Sometimes initially when you look at an image, like for example, let me show you this if it's not too close up. Initially when you look at the whole thing, you think, oh, just grey, or you might spot a bit of this colour here. But then if you look closer, you can sort of see, well, I don't know if it's going to pick up on camera, but you can see a brown tone here. You can see a bit of brown here. Obviously there's the brown all over the back there that I've just put in. But you can also, if you look very closely, you can almost see, that's why I've got that bluey grey shade out, because you can almost, this grey almost looks like it's got a hint of blue in it. So you just have to look quite carefully and just pick out some colours, because the thing is, if you just go in with just straight away greys, you're not going to get what's the right word, you're not going to get much, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. I've got isolation brain. I've got isolation brain, but you know what I'm trying to say anyway, don't you? You're a clever lot. You remind me of things I've forgot about what I've posted in previous videos. So I'm going to put a little bit around here. I think there's a bit under his chin as well. I can slightly see some brown under here on my reference picture, so I'm going to go in under there. I think the brown is when they've been rolling around in the mud to cool off, isn't it? And then it dries on the skin. Correct me if I'm wrong. I probably am. But I think that's it. All this bit appears to be greys on my reference anyway. So yeah, I think that's it. Possibly put a little bit here. Right, now I'm going to get my blue tone out, my sort of bluish grey, because I'm going to pick out the bits that look a bit blue next. So this is the Campanula. I cannot pronounce that for toffee. I hope you can see it. But this is the one I'm going to use for the blue grey tones. It's a really gorgeous colour. Look at the tip on there. So we'll go for the bits that I've noticed that have this little colour on. So it's sort of around here. Again, light pressure. I'm always using a light pressure until probably the really last colours I'm going to put down, the last greys. Doesn't matter if you go over that cork, you can blend it in together. We're going to be blending everything into the greys at the end anyway. But there, I'm going to put a little bit around his eye. It looks like there's a bit of blue. I hope you can see. Do I need to zoom back in? Sorry guys. Zoom back in for you. I am using a really light pressure, so it will be hard to pick up what I'm putting down at the minute. But light pressure all around the eye. And I'm going to go in with a little bit at the bottom of the top of the trunk, sorry, there. Not forgetting I'm zoomed in so I can get you in frame. And I'm going to put a bit under here. That's the level of noise I have to put up with when the window's open, guys. You know, it's worse at night because it is a main road. The traffic's still bad at night, and then you get the boy races with the noisy engines going past, and I can't shut the window. It's too hot to shut that window, but then you have to put up with listening to all that. I'm just going to put a little touch around the bottom of this trunk on the underside there. My reference picture doesn't show the end of the trunk. I'm not sure what colour this little end bit would be. Would it be more pinkish? Or is it grey? I really should have looked that up. I might put a little hint of the pink that we used on the ear around there at the end. So let's bring you back down. I am going to put a bit more of this colour around here. This is sort of the eyebrow. Oh, and if you didn't watch Colour and Chat with Sammy's live stream yesterday, or you have to watch it back, she did an elephant in the Kemsada, is it called? Is that how you pronounce his last name? Anyway, that book, and it was an elephant page in there, and it was gorgeous. She did it with the Zig water brush pens. Gorgeous. I keep looking at those Zig pens and wondering if I need them or not, but I don't think I can justify the price because I don't think I would use them all that too often. But hey ho. Right, I'm going to go in around the ear now with a bit of this. So just around here. I'm going to go over it with the grey, but it's sort of an undertone over here. It's going to be sort of an undertone. Has anybody else ever tried colouring Tim Def's books? I know they don't seem that popular when I've posted videos up before. Oh, there's been a few people saying they don't feel like they could colour them. They look hard. But they're really not, let me tell you. Trust me. If you get one of these pages and just start one, you'll realise how easy they actually are. I find these easier to colour than portraits and things like skin, because he's put all the work in for you. You know where all the grayscale areas are and all that jazz. Super easy. So I'm going to put a little touch of this at the top as well, so let's bring you down. I'm going to put a bit up here before we put those greys down. I think I may have to bring the fan upstairs in my bedroom tonight. You must be thinking, oh, shut up Kirsty, whinging about the weather. Whinging about the nice weather. So here I'm just using this colour to almost bring this brown out. More noisy motorbikes. So I'm blending this brown out into this grey almost. Into the sort of blue grey. That's what it is, isn't it? Let's bring you up a bit more. I've just ordered as well another desk mat. They get mucky so quickly with me because I'm very messy. So they always end up full of acrylic paint and all sorts, and then of course it's hard to get off then. So they need replacing every sort of 4 months with me, to be honest. So I've ordered a new one, so because this desk is quite dirty now what I'm working on. Right, I think that's it with that colour. If I need to come back to it, I can come back to it. But I'm just looking as well, and I've just seen that obviously we've got the ear here. And then this is acting as a shadow. So this is going to be really dark at the end. Really dark. I need to remember that that's a shadow, or else we'll forget. So I'm going to go in with the top now. Oh, my pencils are rolling. Rolling. I'm going to go in with the top now. And what I'm going to do, you can see on the nose here, these ridges. And you can see how underneath each ridge it's sort of got the dark shadow in. So I'm going to go in with this top and I'm going to create those little ridges with this. So we'll start there. We'll start at the top. I'm going to start off lightly on the ones at the top because they're not much of a deep ridge. If you look at them, they're not very deep. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of pressure there. Not too much. And then obviously they start to get darker. If you're not a fan of the harsh line, just leaving it like that, what you can do is put your pressure on for the line and then use a lighter pressure and just use a circular motion to sort of bring the colour down like that. Let's get you. And we can start putting on a harder pressure in these now. These ridges are darker and deeper towards the bottom of the nose, trunk even, nose. So anybody that's been colouring in this heat, are you struggling with any of your pencils? Are they melting? The Irojitens won't melt, let me tell you. These won't melt, these bad boys. We're still in frame. We are. I don't know what to do for tea today. I don't feel like cooking. You know when the weather's, I'm talking about the weather again, but when it is hot, you don't feel like cooking. You don't feel like eating particularly. Unless it's a nice lolly. So I bought some fruit anyway. I bought some big punnets of strawberries. The kids love strawberries. I bought a big salad. Cherry tomatoes, they love cherry tomatoes. I would have done burgers, but I forgot to take the buns out the freezer. And I know you can defrost them in the microwave, but I don't really like doing that. With these ones, I am just taking this line further out as well. So there is already a line there, I'm just going over the line that's already there a little bit. You can barely see that I've done everything, but it will all come together. You can tell the difference if you leave it to if you put in all these little details. You can tell the difference in the end picture. You might think at the time that you're doing it that you can't, but you can, trust me. So you can see that these pencils are holding a really good point. Almost permanently, unless we start going in with a really hard pressure. I think I'll just turn you around where I get the angle on these little ones, because I'm just gonna deepen up some of these little ridges. I don't want my big hand to be in the way. So you can see that now taking shape. I'm going to do that on some of these ones that I missed out, where it's pulled the line out a bit further and I've not quite gone over that. And these little ones here, it's quite dark under there because it's in the shadows. you. Bless me. That's hair fever for you. Oh. Right, I think that's the nose done. Trunk, I keep calling it a nose. Poor elephant. It's gonna think it's human. Yeah, but I think that's it with that bit. So I am going to use this top as well to deepen up the sides of the nose. So it is quite dark around here. So we're going to go in with this. It's an emergency vehicle going past now. Don't be alarmed. Gonna be quite a delicate little elephant, this guy, I think. He's looking quite delicate. So I'm just going to lightly skim over this bit here, but then I'm going to use a lighter grey to burnish it all with later. So I'm just going to skim over that. Just looking at the nose as well here, I am going to bring some of this onto here. Very lightly. I'm out of frame again, I do apologise, it's because I'm so zoomed in. But I'm just using small circular motions to bring some of this top onto where we put the cork on the nose. That'll do. I'm gonna go in on the little mouth bit now here. I think the eyes are always quite nice to do as well, especially when you're doing animals. They seem to come alive as soon as you get that eye in. So I'm going to go in with a hard pressure here around where the tongue would be coming out. Just deepen that up a bit. I hope it was, no, it's not his tongue. His tongue's not out there, is it? So I'm just lightly gonna go around the eye to start off with, because I don't want to darken up any areas too early. So I'm going in with a really, really light pressure to start with. And then I can pick out where I want to put a harder pressure. So I can see on my reference picture he's sort of got a darker bag under his eye, so it's the one right at the bottom that's dark. So I'm going to go in with a hard pressure now on this bottom one. So straight up block colour in there. Someone's being silly on the roundabout. Oh dear me. First bit of sun that comes out and people decide to drive like absolute lunatics. Like trying to drift around the roundabout on a main road. It's like, really? Why? Never mind. That's the mum in me coming out. So there we go. Well, I've picked out the darkest bits there, and now I'm going to go in with a sort of medium pressure on the rest of it to blend it up. We've got this one little bit that's going to stay lighter, which is that tiny little bit there. And the rest around the eye is very dark. We're even going to get a bit of black around the bottom of this eye. Shortly. So I'm just going to sharpen my pencil. I use the Thankyou sharpener, which is very good for these Tombow Irojitens, and I like to have mine at number 3. It's just a personal preference. Whatever tickles your fancy. So I'm going to leave the eye for now. I'll come back with some black detailing after. But first off, I just want to bring this top grey up here. Emergency vehicles again. It's all happening. It's all happening on this video, isn't it? Wouldn't surprise me if they're going after the idiots just driving like idiots. Right, I'm going to go in with a hard pressure here. This is where it's quite dark in colour. And I'm going to bring that down here. So we're going to blend it onto the top of the trunk. Get a bit more colour in this top of his head here. So this is the really dark section. And it's going to be really dark all around this area at the top. Hopefully I'm still in frame for you. Now it seems to have in the middle this little highlight here, and I'm going to try and leave that in. So the darkest bits are going to be down here. And then I'll get my lighter grey, which is a pigeon grey I think, and I'll blend that into that shortly. I'm just going to finish the top of this head first with the darker colours. Pull a bit of it on top of his head there. That's looking nice. Just sharpen my pencil again. See, because I went in with a very hard pressure, it's just took my tip off my pencil. So now I'm going to go under this ear. You can see it's got a shadow under this ear, so I'm going to go in really dark under here. Blow that away. You know, I got one of the brushes to brush away my pencil dust, and I'm still automatically doing it with my hand all the time. I got one of these so I wouldn't have to touch the page, so I can just, you know, move the pencil dust. It's just instinct, isn't it, to use your hand? It's natural reaction to just go like that and waft it with your hand. I'm trying not to do that because it does smudge all over your page if you're not careful. Right, I'm going to get all this depth inside the ear going on now, so let's just make sure that you really are in frame. Don't want you not to see half the video. So I'm going dark down here. You could as well at the end. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it yet, but these little spots, you could darken them up a little bit if you wanted to, because they are quite, in some areas they are quite faint. But you could, that's up to you, totally your own preference. You could darken them up, but I don't think I will, just because I'm lazy. Or I might do it off camera a little bit, because it, you know, it probably will eat into the time if I wanted to do that. So now I'm just blending it out. I've done a really hard pressure all in the darker areas here, and now I'm going into a medium to light pressure to blend it into the centre. So that's blended in quite nicely there to what we want it to be in the centre. So I'm going to darken up, make sure all this bit's darkened up to where I want it to be. I think that's where I want it to be. Then I'm going to darken up a little bit. It's just not looking as dark as I want it around here. It does seem to have quite dark cheeks on the reference. You just pick up little bits as you're going along, and I do tend to do that. I do tend to dot myself around the illustration. When I see something else in another area and I'm like, oh, quickly I'll go and do that while it's fresh in my mind, because I do tend to forget really easily what I've just thought in my head. So I'm just going to blend it out a little bit now where we've got that harsh line. Ease it into a medium to light pressure to blend that out. Putting a bit more depth around the mouth as well. Bit around the eye. I need to smack myself on hand for keep going out of frame. I'm so bad for it. Right, I'm just going to get this little bit under here because that looks like it's darker. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. Blend that down. And then I'm going to go in on this shadow here that you can see. So this is going to be a really, I'm going to do this with a really hard pressure under here. So I may even bring some black at the darkest point here in a minute. We'll see. I'm going to go all under there and around here. My pencil's going to get really worn out now. I'm going in with a hard pressure here. There we go. So I'm just going to sharpen my pencil now. I think it needs it after that. And I'm going to put in the next lot of dark colours, which is, there's a little bit up here. I actually forgot a bit on the ear as well that I'm going to do in a second. So the bit I forgot around the ear was just on the actual ear here. So you can see that I am using a lot of this taupe, but we already put in all the undercolours. So that's why I've gone in with this colour last. For this reason. And then there was a little bit that we wanted to do around the edge here. That's that, and then the very last bit I'm going to do with this top is all along the bottom of the neck of the elephant. So I'm just going to zoom out, or else we will end up going out of frame. I'm going to start here, so where the autumn leaf meets the rest here, I'm going to go in with a darker. I'm going to deepen it all up because I didn't quite give that the depth that I wanted. So we're going to go in there. You can blend it into the autumn leaf, that's totally fine. It blends it quite nice. You can see there. you up a bit. So I'm just going to sharpen my pencil off again, and then we're going to blend out this darker colour here where it meets here. We're going to blend it out a bit, and then we're going to put more depth in here. You can see where it starts, it goes lighter and then it gets more grayscale here again. So we put the darkness here. So that was a hard pressure to medium pressure, and then we go into a light pressure, pulling it up into that highlight. And again at the top here. There we go. Just going to put a bit more at the top here. So when you look back at your image, you can spot where you want to just play around with it and add more or less. There we go. So I'm going to get the black colour now, and I'm going to go around the little eye. So bring in where I do the eye, then we can see a bit better. So I've got two colours for this. I have got a bit of a brown because it does look like the actual eye might have a bit of brown in it. I know it's black on there, or it's been blacked out by the grayscale, but you might be able just to add a tiny little brown in there. But we'll see. We'll see if we can lighten it up any. Yeah, it has. It's put like a nice little brown over the top there. And then I'm going to get the black, and I'm going to go around the eye at the edge and at the top. And then I'm going to blend it out under this, under here, because it is quite dark all under there. I'm going to go in with a hard pressure, and then I'm going to blend it in. Like that. And a little bit of blending at the top of the eye with the black like that. There we go. Now we've already left a little highlight in, but I always like to get, sorry, not the camera, I always like to get my white gel pen and just make that whiter and brighter. So just go over that a really small amount. So I'm going to go in with my pigeon grey lastly. So that is this one, pigeon grey, and I'm just going to go over all of the areas. That we went with the top, more or less, and just blend it all out. This is a really nice light grey, so you can just whiz over everything with this. It's not going to be detrimental to what you've already put down. Really, it's just going to really bring it all together. I prefer to use lighter shades of things to blend some of the times, rather than a blender pencil or a white pencil. I just feel that it works better for me. So if you hear children, they've come upstairs having a good play. Apologise if my hand's in the way, guys. Oh, I've just gone over, getting a bit carried away with that. I will erase it. Let's get my eraser. Waft it. Let's give this a sharpen again. Now I'm going to use this pigeon grey to blend this into that highlight. So hopefully this video will upload for you all. I'm not sure how long I've been sat down for. My phone does struggle to upload videos that are a lot longer than an hour. So we'll see. We'll see how long it's taken me. It'll be quite interesting to see that. So I'm just going to go over this little bit here. Leaving some of the highlights in. But subtly. And I'm just going to go in with that fawn colour. So the fawn colour we used at the beginning, I'm going to use that to just go around the end of his trunk. Because I'm sure they're a bit pinkish on the end of there. I'm not quite sure. My reference picture doesn't have the end of the trunk on. If it's not, it's not. But I was thinking, because the ears are, that might be a bit pinkish. It's not too pink anyway. That's alright. So let's zoom your way and have a little look at this. So that's our elephant done. So there wasn't too much colour involved in it, I don't think. Not too many pencils used. But yeah, really happy with that. It's a really fun one to do. So there he is. A little Nelly the elephant. So if you're interested in colouring this page for the hashtag, again it was hashtag July Elephants Colour Along, and you have to tag Little Pickles Colourful Life over on Instagram. This elephant that I coloured again was from Intricate Ink Animals in Detail Volume 2 by Tim Jeffs, and there's 2 elephants in this book if you're interested in joining in with that colour along. Please do hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.